you absolutely think that there is misogyny in our world. I don't disagree with you. I do think that there are people that hate women, just like I think there are people that hate men.
Yes.
But I do want some clarification here. When you say misogyny, how do you define misogyny?
I define it as, I feel like misogyny might be more of a systemic thing where women thinking that women need to do anything a man wants, I feel like is misogynistic. I feel as though not having women be respected in leadership positions is also misogynistic. I know that not everyone believes that way, but that's misogyny to me. That we can't, that it's so hard for us to get that extra representation.
But you believe in the Christian worldview.
Yeah.
The Christian worldview is patriarchal.
Yes, but the men is supposed to look to their wives or women for wisdom because God gave them wisdom. Love is patient, love is kind, love does not boast, love is not selfish. Love considers everybody, and if you love your wife, you will consider the things that she needs and wants. Sure. And not just what you want.
Yeah, but it's not a matter of the assumption that's kind of baked into the Christian worldview. Is the reason it's patriarchal and the reason that the man's supposed to have the final decision is because you trust him to note that what's good for you, even when you don't know what's good for you.
But I don't trust all the men that we've had in power.
Yeah, I get it, but when you're talking about this conundrum which comes up, if that's your worldview, if the worldview is the Christian worldview, it's the same conundrum that I asked her earlier.
My worldview is Jesus' worldview. Like, the world believes in going to war. Jesus doesn't believe in going to war.
Yeah, but that really has nothing to do.
But I'm saying my worldview, like, there's a lot of contradictions in what Christians say their worldview is than what Jesus said the worldview should be. That was my point there. No, well,
I understand it, but the head of the church is Jesus, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And all the apostles who went off to found new churches were all men, correct?
Yeah, but Jesus doesn't really like religion, so. Churches,
he came to give us his church. He said it. He said
we are the church.
Yeah, he came to give a. No, he came to
make the church
give
his
us
bride.
a church.
Give religion.
He
didn't say he would come. No.
When I'm talking about worldview, when I say the word religion, you can dispute the word. You can say, okay, I don't follow a religion, but you still follow a worldview. Your view, the way that you look at the world, the prism in which you're guided, is informed by your Christian worldview. This is how you know what's right, what's wrong, what's correct behavior, incorrect behavior, how you're supposed to live your life, how you're not supposed to live your life, right?
Are you drinking that beer? Do you have a Christian worldview?
Yeah.
Okay.
And?
That contradicts it.
No, it doesn't. Drinking a beer contradicts Christianity?
Yeah.
Really?
Alcohol, spirits, stay away from spirits.
Have you ever heard of something called the Last Supper?
Yeah.
What did they drink?
Wine.
Gotcha, bitch.
Contradicting their own worldviews.
From Jesus.
Jesus drank himself wine.
That he made.
Listen, there's no restriction in Christianity for drinking wine.
We're not beer. To be drunk, but to have a beer is fine.
Drunken,
wine.
He is on his,
but we are not to be drunk.
The reason that drunkenness is wrong, drinking is not wrong, and who cares if you're on your 8th if you're not drunk? The reason that drunkenness
impaired, you're going to be impaired.
The reason he's got a high tolerance.
The reason
but that's the reason not what. If you got pulled over, that's not what would be happening.
It's not about blood alcohol level. Christianity is not about legalism. They're looking for impairment, because if there was some type of impairment, and not just impairment but addiction, if it was an addiction and an impairment, that would take you further away from Christ. That's part of the worldview. Drinking a beer has nothing to do with it. I mean, I don't even know where that comes from.
I think a man should only lead if he is a Christian man and wants to lead his family closer to God. Otherwise, I don't know what you're leading or what you're leading for or what you're determining, because if you're not going off of what God says, then why?
Yeah, why? Sure. So you're leading your family.
Yes, I believe God gave men knowledge and ability to be able to rationalize and not have emotion, but also so that they can communicate with their wife, so that they can also understand more about themselves and the decisions that they do need to make. So I do believe a man should make like the final decision.
Sure. So he's in charge.
But he is a provider, and he's supposed to protect and take care of his family, and that I believe means emotionally, mentally, and physically. And if you're doing something that hurts your wife, you shouldn't want to do that because you love them.
But hurt her how?
Not letting her express herself, not letting her use the skills that God gave her. There's lots of different things.
Sure, but when we're talking about hurt, or you're doing something that you have some preference against, it doesn't mean that you're doing anything wrong if you're the final arbiter. So you could have, again, this situation, especially within the Christian worldview, of you're being willful. You're being willful and you're being disrespectful yourself without realizing it. Isn't it your husband's duty to say, no, you're supposed to obey within the confines of the Christian ethos?
You're supposed to obey God. Jesus always comes first. So if your man told you that we needed to do something that was against God,
mm-hmm.
You're not going to do it.
That would be a violation of your ethics. There's the distinction here is part of your ethics is to follow your man's lead. That's what part of your ethical framework is.
And you dismiss it if they go against God.
Yeah, but going against God isn't you being just willful. You being willful and him saying, listen, you have to stop being so willful. You have to stop being so argumentative. You have to stop going against me and my decision making because you're just being willful. That's not going against God.
Do you think if a woman has an opinion and you just don't want to hear her out and you won't hear her out, it's gonna lead to a little bit of arguing because you're not listening to your woman? She might have a good idea. She might have something that can really bring value to you.
Sure, she might, but it's not really for her to decide that. It's for him to decide that within the ethos.
Got it.
Within the ethic, right?
That sounds more like... I don't believe God talks about dominance. He talks about leadership.
It's not dominance.
But it says submit to each other.
Marriage in the Christian ethic is a reflection of the relationship you have with Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ is the head of the church.
But not everyone gets married to men that deserve that respect.
Let me finish. The man acts as the head of the church, right? That's the symbolic relationship. The woman acts as the body of the church. That is the symbolic relationship. The man is the head. So when you're talking about submission, which is part of your vows, for all Christians, as far as I'm aware, even Protestants make the vow of submission.
But what about to men that aren't your husband, like at work? But we're talking about misogyny, and I was saying it's systemic. Like at work, when your boss shuts you down, you have a great idea. I work at a place that they take my ideas, they bring me in, they ask me questions, they want to know what I think because they see the value that women have, like our attention to detail, organization, things like that. So you could grow your businesses, you could grow humanity as a whole by considering what women have to say instead of just saying, no, I'm right, I'm right, I'm right, I'm right.
Yeah, but it is considered what women have to say. What does that have to do with misogyny? If men shut men down.
Because men don't listen.
Men don't listen to men most of the time.
But they automatically, like you show that you don't even listen to women. You literally call us bitches that you think our like brains are like off or something. Like they work, we think, we move, we do research, we have talents, we have capabilities.
How do you expect me to?
And not every woman is going to get married.
God, this fucking girl. Just leave it open a little bit. We need some air in here.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Leave it open.
What just happened?
Anyway, so yeah, back to this. Nobody's dismissing. I don't understand. Is this like internalized misogyny?
No, like I've seen women talk about it all the time. And do you think they're just talking out of their assholes?
Sometimes, but I don't know specifically what you're referencing.
I really don't see a point continuing
let me
this
come
conversation
in.
with
You said, do you think there's misandry? Do you think there's misandry?
Explain what that.
It's the counter of misogyny.
Like
so if
women
misogyny,
doing the same thing. Yeah.
If misogyny is the hatred of women, then misandry is the hatred of men.
It's not just the hatred, though.
Well, yes, but just keeping things simple.
Okay.
It's a bias, or whatever the full definition.
I think that there is a growing population of people that hate men. Yeah, but I think that
yourself included.
No, actually.
Are you sure?
Yeah, actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think respectable men are respectable men. I have a lot of male friends. Men aren't terrible. Like, some men are terrible. Some women are terrible. I don't think we disagree on everything. I think you think my brain is
Motorsports
broken.
donated $200. B, what a sad panel on my birthday. Andrew saves it if for sure. God says to submit to the man as head of the household. To love, honor, and obey. That last word means something.
It also says for a man to
on.
praise and honor his wife.
Yeah, but so...
Thank you, good one.
How does it take away from praising and honoring your wife for your wife to obey you?
Oh, seriously. Some men don't deserve to be obeyed. Like, some men ask for very not right things. Like, I understand what you're saying. You're talking about good men. There's a lot of not good men. I'm speaking about not good men that literally take advantage, abuse, and use women and their brains, or just totally discount. I don't get how that doesn't make sense. I'm not talking about everyone. I don't generalize like you do. I think every situation is different.
But you are generalizing right now.
No.
Yeah. If you say, I'm not talking about all the good men, I'm talking about all the bad men, that's a generalization.
No, I told you what I'm talking about.
Yeah, and that's a generalization.
So me saying misogyny exists is not a generalization. That's saying...
No, that's not a generalization.
Okay, and because of some bad men. I don't think good men are misogynistic. I think good men cherish and love the women that they're around them. My sister has an amazing boyfriend, and he literally, in his mind, he's behind every great man is an even greater woman. No. Because we are wise. No. And God gave us wisdom.
No. Behind every great man is not a greater woman. Now that is a generalization.
She literally raises
also,
your children.
Hang on, that's a generalization, right? Is that a generalization?
I didn't say that's what I said. I just said that's what he said. I'm saying that there are men out there that value women for who they are and what they can bring to the table.
I have a question. I have a question for you on this. So I've been building my business for over a decade, for 10 years.
Awesome.
And if I started to date a woman 10 years into having already established my business, was she the great woman that was behind me when I was in the trenches, like fucking grinding?
No, you weren't together. I feel like that's an invalid
your statement
conversation.
takes agency away from the greatness that men achieve.
Well, it's really weird.
Women can achieve greatness too when they're not forced to stay in a home.
It's actually worse, Brian, because you could just never get with a woman again, and you could still end up being a great man.
A woman could also do the same thing.
You wouldn't even need to
That's not what I'm arguing.
A woman can do the same thing.
Women absolutely have the capacity for greatness and achievement, but it is kind of taking... We don't ever hear the reverse. Behind every boss bitch is a...
epic man.
Great man. Like, you never hear the reverse.
But that's because men have all the validation they need, obviously.
I worked all the work I've done.
So you
that's
just
on
don't
me.
get enough validation.
No, I do actually. My family's very validating.
About?
Talking about a lot of women's opinions.
So are we generalizing now?
I said a lot of, not all.
Well, a lot of is a generalization.
Okay.
Isn't it?
Sure.
Yeah, so now we're generalizing.
You also generalize.
I do, but I'm not the one saying I don't.
I didn't say I don't.
Okay, so now if we're back to a generalization, and you're saying a lot of, what does that mean?
What does that mean?
Yeah, what does it mean?
I don't feel the need to talk to disrespectful men like you.
Well, I mean, if I'm in a room with a bull dyke, I can at least...
I just know better men. That's all.
What did you say?
Like, I really do know a lot, like, greater men than you. Like, I don't know... Like, the way you speak, the way you talk, I don't know... I don't understand.
You don't understand what? Why isn't it possible for you to have a conversation without being ridiculously combative?
You are also combative.
I've gone out of my way to cool it down.
You already have a thought before any
I've gone out of my way.
No, you haven't.
Oh yeah, I have.
Sure, you're crazy, dude.
Well, how do you think you've gone out of your way?
Well,
List at least
I've tried to
3.
keep it as cool as possible, but if you're having a
You called us bitches, you raised your voice, you said fucking.
You called us dumb.
You said bitches
you get
like
aggressive
you to her.
as well.
You're also, you're...
So the chick over there who talks shit to me, I talk shit back to her? That was not okay?
She didn't cuss at all. You literally called...
She said, because of men like you, and I said, because of bitches like you.
Yeah.
So, do you know what a tit for tat is? Or when somebody hits you...
I don't know. My father just wouldn't approve of the way you're speaking to me.
When somebody hits you, you hit them back harder.
100%. Your father wouldn't, and he's a great man.
You would hit a woman, huh?
Verbally. If they're hitting you in a debate, you hit them back harder.
Okay.
Okay, hold on.
Where did we come up with this idea?
I don't know. I just
that suddenly everybody's abusive.
Not everyone's abusive.
I don't know. You accused him earlier, or at
No,
least
I
you're on the
asked
verge
him-
of it, and now you said you're going to hit a woman.
Yeah, I'm asking.
Yeah.
By the logic, you said if someone hits you, you hit them harder.
Verbally.
You should have said that.
It was implied. Would you hit a man?
No, I wouldn't.
Never?
No, I wouldn't.
Not even to defend yourself?
I mean, I would run, hopefully.
Not even to defend yourself?
No.
No?
No.
Just never?
I wouldn't even hit a girl back if she hit me and tried to fight me. I'm not a fighter. And maybe in a circumstance it would be different, but in my head I would never want to do that to somebody. Honestly.
So you're a pacifist?
Sure. I don't know,
So
not
it's
with my
just-
words, obviously.
It's just verbal argumentation?
I guess.
That's it?
Yeah.
Okay.
We're going to do a reset. We have some chats here to
Battle of the
read.
mind.
We have Black Flame Nova. Here's for all you've done with the show and for bringing Andrew on to shed some knowledge on these 3 foes. The dude couldn't have been racist because he kissed you. That wouldn't be the case otherwise. Okay, going back to that.
Yeah.
Okay, Black Flame Nova, appreciate it. Appreciate it, man. All right, we have GR Gracie. Ladies,
It doesn't apply to you.
stop. Just stop. If your father was like Andrew and actually questioned your life choices, would you be happier as you age and your tats turn into Salvador Dali paintings? I don't really get the question. If your father was like Andrew and actually questioned life, would you be happier as you age and your tats turn into I don't. Is this it's like a hypothetical?
He's basically
No,
saying
to
your
be
skin will
safe.
get saggy, your things are going to
Okay.
change. He was insulting, but trying to ask.
I'm going
a
to
question.
pretend
kind
to
of
be
a
very insulted.
cryptic.
Very insulted by that.
I feel like that
Okay.
was
Horrific
I
comment.
feel like that wasn't pointed at you though for some
I think
reason.
I'm the one with tattoos, though.
Yeah,
showing
I
you.
still for some reason feel like it was pointed
Okay.
at Gertrude for some reason.
We have Tori Hearn. It's Grid 1 birthday. The whole panel needs to say happy B-Day to him. Is it Grid 1's birthday?
Yeah, because he was whining about us being in the panel.
Oh, it is his birthday. It is his
Happy birthday, Grid 1.
Yo, Grid 1, happy fucking birthday. I hope you had a great cake. I hope you had
Go spend your money elsewhere.
Feliz Navidad. Happy birthday, man.
What?
Happy birthday.
Oh, the Spanish, right?
Isn't Feliz Navidad like Merry Christmas?
It is.
Oh, fuck. Hold on.
Feliz cumpleaños
How do you
is
say
happy birthday. Feliz
in Spanish?
cumpleaños.
Fuck, man. Hey, it's my California Spanish. Okay. All right. Even if a man has shown great leadership, he cannot lead a follower, his wife, if she's combative, disrespectful, argumentative, but worst of all, conditionally submissive. Most women are like this.
Yeah, feminism has turned most women this way.
Yeah, basically what he's saying is he wants a pet.
No, it's
No,
not.
I disagree with that.
Not
I
really.
agree with that statement that's set up there. I do feel like women are less likely to
You
let.
have to realize you have a
Wait, let her
respectful
finish. Let her
husband.
finish. Let her finish.
You're right. Sorry.
I feel like women nowadays are less likely to allow their man to lead them, and it's not that men are not being like anger and taking over you. They're leading you because they want what's best for you and for the family.
All men.
Yours is
Not all men.
Right.
But she's speaking
Not
from
all
her
men.
experience.
I
Right. So the thing is,
personally wouldn't
That's
be
what
married
we
to him
want.
if he
We
wasn't
want
that
a
way.
good man.
Private chat.
We don't know what your husband's like, but you look like
Same
a
way.
very healthy, like beautiful woman, and you have a respectful husband, and that's amazing. But a lot of women do not pick the right men, and I feel like it's possible that men of the household and like boasting about it so much can get to some other men's head and create them to be abusers. I'm not saying everyone's an abuser.
I agree.
But I believe that this mindset causes that. And I do believe, like, a woman should submit to a respectful man if he really is following God and doing what God is asking him to.
What role does the woman play in that? Because I feel like as women, if we're not respecting ourselves, then we're not demanding respect of a man. And I feel like also like this whole courtship, I mean, you're dating them. So it's not like you're all of a sudden in this marriage and you're like, oh my gosh, he's controlling me. It's like this whole time he should have been leading you.
Absolutely.
You know?
But I think men think they need to do that before
It
you're even
sound-
married. That's what I'm saying. Like,
It also sounds like based on your relationship, like you guys have a really healthy relationship and he's not abusive. But if a man is abusive and controlling and then he wants you to be submissive and not combative and agreeable, that's a problem.
Oh, absolutely. I mean,
Yeah.
Do
again,
you
I
have the
wouldn't have
video?
married
That's
him had
because
he been
that's not
abusive.
that's
Okay.
not a man that's following God.
Right.
And God
I-
is the head of the
to just
household.
say,
Yes,
so to
and
just say a
women
woman should always
do
submit to a
make
man.
bad decisions with the men they pick. Yeah, absolutely.
We
It's
have a
also-
video
it's
that's
also
related to
men. I
this.
feel like
Go
the
ahead,
women
you can
don't
play it,
know.
Nick.
So I want guidance. I want leadership. But don't just like boss me around, you know? Like lead me. Lead me when I'm in the mood to be led. So I want guidance. I want leadership.
I think there was a longer version of it. But I don't know. It occurs to me like, so I think women really want men who can lead, but the feminism mind virus is you want a leader, but you don't want to follow.
It's so hard for you guys to understand equality. Like both people can lead each other.
No, that doesn't. Hold on, but do you want a guy to take initiative on the first date? Like
Yes.
you want a guy to ask you out?
Yeah, but ideally I take initiative in other aspects.
What other aspects?
I make him feel good about himself. I compliment
He should do that
him.
too. He should do that
Yeah,
too.
It's not
Everybody
leadership.
should-
That's just complimenting
That's
someone.
not. Yeah,
That's why I
exactly.
take leadership
agree.
of the
That's not
household
leadership.
then. I mean,
huh? You take.
Are you talking about
leadership in the
marriage or in
household?
dating? What are we talking about?
Well, obviously it
both.
starts somewhere,
Honestly,
right?
So,
So you demand leadership for the first 3 months of your relationship?
I don't think anybody should be a leader here. I think they should both be working
you
together
just-
as a team.
Yeah,
there's
but
always
hold
a
on.
leader.
There's the leader in everything.
You want the guy to take the massive. A lot of women don't understand because you're in the privileged position of being sexual selectors. You don't understand the absolutely fucking massive burden that it is for men to be the initiators in these situations and take the lead and face the risk of just brutal rejection
That's why
after
you shouldn't-
rejection.
That's why you shouldn't do it the entire time. Why would you do it?
Well,
the
that's
entire
convenient
time?
for you to
But
say because
doesn't a
men
leader
have to
delegate tasks
whether
based on their
hold on,
team's
whatever or
assets?
idealistic worldview you want to claim there is. Oh, men shouldn't have to. Guess what? Men by default have
I didn't
to.
say they shouldn't have to.
I have a
Throughout
question.
the entire relationship, they should not be being a doormat for their
Okay, let me
wife.
give you an example. Generally speaking, if men just don't take the initiative ever, that's the end of their bloodline. Do you that's the difference between men and women. Women, you just show up when it comes to dating. You just have to make yourself available. If we don't make conscious effort and attempts to actually approach women, pursue women, that's the end of your bloodline.
Yeah.
You're fucked. Women, you just dozens of men sliding
If
into your
you're,
DMs.
if you're an
women.
ugly girl and you just roll out of the bed
Not even
and
true.
You don't take
Even
care
ugly
of yourself.
women.
Okay, yeah,
They get
sure.
fucked but not married.
Yeah, they're not. Yeah, thank you.
At
they're
least
not.
they can
they're
get
getting
that,
fuck zoned
though.
every
At
single
least they
time.
can-
No, they're
Actually,
The same amount of men get married. The same amount of women and men get married because you have to have a man and a woman to get married. Like it's not.
Okay,
Okay,
can I
but
ask a question
that-
as a woman? If you have a man that asks you on a date, wants to pay for that date, opens the door for you, treats you right, continues to treat you right, and take care of you for 6 months, asks you to marry him, you marry him, and you trust him, love him, respect him, and you can agree that he's the leader, what is the problem with him being the leader if you trust his decisions?
If I trust his decision, then he's a good person. He can lead.
But
Whatever,
you're
that's
like,
fine.
I trust you this whole
Sorry.
time. I've trusted you until we got married. I trust you now that we're married. But now I want to have some control over some situations. Why can't you
Well,
say
no,
I'm
I
willing
mean-
to relinquish control because I trust that whatever your decision is, it's for the best for me because you love me.
If you have a loving relationship with a husband who respects you and genuinely sees the value in you, then yeah, there's no problem. If you submit to him, he's not going to abuse you.
Okay, so then
right?
as a woman, I'm saying that I do not,
As a woman,
there's
to-
no
to
area in my
tell
home where
other
I need to
women-
override my husband and say, I would like the authority here because why?
your
I don't
hu-
trust you.
Because
I don't
you
think you're
and
going to
your
make the right
husband-
decision.
I would assume your husband's probably good to you.
He's very good. That's what
Well,
we're
I
saying. That's
just-
what
You
we're saying.
never have
hypothetically.
ideas.
Do you guys assume
I
You
have
never,
ideas, and he
like,
loves and
single
respects me enough
husband?
to allow me to
Do
pursue
you
them.
assume
No, I'm
every
saying, like,
single
within
husband is
your-
going to be good in a marriage?
I have all kinds of ideas, and my husband is so amazing and respectful and loving
Okay, but
that
does that
he
apply to
lets me do
everybody?
whatever I
But
want.
is
So
that-
I'm
where
literally
is that? I
not
want a
controlled.
statistic.
I'm literally not controlled because I give my husband control and he loves and respects me so much.
So you're
he says
suggesting-
whatever you want, baby.
So you're
Yeah,
suggesting that
that's
every
him
single
loving you
woman in the
biblically,
world, in order to
absolutely.
avoid abuse and control, should relinquish control?
No,
of
I'm not
those women?
suggesting
all
that.
these
I'm
abusive
asking
men?
you what the problem
Are you
is.
suggesting abusive men don't exist?
No,
not
I've
at
been with
all.
one.
Not at all. But
Or
why
have you
are
been
all
abused?
these? Why
Is
are
that
all
why?
of these men that we're talking
know
about
quite a few men
supposedly
who mistreat
abusive and
their
horrible
partners.
people? Like, there are so many good quality men out here, and we're going back to the fact where men get shit on. And it's
that's the
ridiculous.
point.
There's
Your
so many
entire
good men.
podcast
Hold
is
on.
shitting on girls. What do you mean?
Straw man. Straw man.
It's not a straw man. It's the same
It actually
thing.
is. Hold on. We can get
I'm
into
not
that.
shitting on
Wait, hold
all
on,
men.
hold
I'm
on,
shitting
hold
on a
on, hold on,
particular
hold
type
on,
of
hold
man.
on.
I
Just
feel
like
like
you
you're
guys
just being
aren't shitting on
argued
all
with.
women.
You
You're
think
shitting
that
on a
being argued
particular
with
type
means you're
of
getting
woman.
shit on.
No, I don't.
Yeah, if you
I
say equip towards
completely
someone, they send
disagree.
they say equip back. Suddenly, that's out. That's
no,
out of bounds.
completely disagree. Completely.
Well, then that's all that's happened.
To
So what-
agree with
here-
her,
the
I
whole
mean-
time you've been here.
Okay, so
to-
but what's the problem? I don't.
Okay, hold
So
on.
how's it a
There's
podcast
two
about
different
shitting on
conversations.
women? We're not shitting on you.
Hold on.
Your entire
There's two
podcast is
fucking
talking about how
conversations going on
women
here.
are, like,
Let me bring it back to the
hosed
actual
feminism's
conversation
bad.
instead of this devolving into a further fucking meta conversations. Jesus Christ. Put your mic back to the Can you put your mic back, please? Okay. To your point, can we try to keep the conversations to like normal?
Sex?
Are you fucking R-slurred? What? Can we keep the conversation within like, let's not go into like abnormal situations.
I don't.
Like, I don't see, okay, should a woman follow an abusive man? No. Are you happy? Now let's talk about within the confines
Okay.
of normal, healthy
Fine.
relationships.
Forget
Ought
abusive.
women to follow...
Forget abusive. But there are a lot of men who are like substandard
Okay, cool.
and don't
I'll
know
give
how
it
to
to you.
treat a girl
Cool. I'll give it
right.
to you. Don't follow abusive men. I 100% agree.
Don't follow
now
a shitty
let's
guy
talk.
either.
Cool. I agree with you.
Or a
Now let's
financially
talk
illiterate
about
man.
normal, healthy relationships.
Yeah,
let's keep
submit.
it focused here.
I think they both
In
should
that,
be listening to each other, though.
Okay, so why do you have to bring up this like scenario? What if the man
Because
fucking
you
murders
guys are
you?
acting
Should
like
you follow
every
him then?
woman, every woman who's combative or has an opinion or disagrees or whatever, like you're a bad girl if you don't submit to your husband in totality. And
Do you
that's
want a
just-
guy who's dominant?
No.
Do you want a soy
necessarily.
boy?
No, I don't want either.
So what do you want?
I want a guy
she
who
wants-
sees me as a
she
human.
wants a traditional
D400
liberal
Clo 5
feminist man.
donated